it wasn't even penalized.
Yeah.
The
Kaliev?
No, Pare.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
No, Pare was like there was no penalty on the play, and I think it clearly should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
So like they wouldn't even address an on ice incident that was just a part of gameplay. So technically, the way this worked in the realm of the hockey sphere, it was just a play on the ice.
That's looking at it like AI and not a human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's how they approach. I don't agree. I think like it'd be nice if there was like a league referee official who'd be like, hey, this is what happened and this is why everybody's upset. And it should have been a penalty and they could have been fined and all that stuff. I think at the end of the day, it should have been Pare gets the fine and Xhekaj gets 1 game.
I'm okay with Pare getting suspended. I have no problem with that. But like Xhekaj getting a fine and no suspension, like, listen, it sucks. Laine's hurt. It sucks. It's bad. It's wrong. It's unfortunate. I cheer for a team that directly goes up against the Montreal Canadiens, and I feel bad for the player. I feel bad for the team, and I feel bad for the fans. There's no justification for Xhekaj not getting suspended, other than, well, he deserved it.
Multiple punches to the back of the head with the glove.
Glove on.
Yeah.
And I've seen the debate like, well, at least it was glove on. Dude,
That's way worse. You can punch harder.
try punching a hockey helmet bare knuckle versus glove on and tell me which one you punch harder with.
There's a reason these guys take their gloves off because that's why boxers wear gloves.
Yes,
They can hit harder.
There was a famous incident where a boxer was beaten nearly to death by his opponent who illegally took stuffing out of his gloves. Right. And obviously that fight was thrown out and I think people went to prison. Like, yeah, you agree to terms in a fight and then you broke those terms and used it to your advantage and also you nearly killed your opponent in the process.
Right.
So that's a very extreme example, but repeatedly glove on punching someone is never and has never, ever been allowed. Dylan Larkin got a game suspension, I think it was, for he got hit from behind by Matthew Joseph. He was very upset about it. He got up and he cold cocks him right in the face.
Yeah.
Now, did he get 1 game for punching him glove on or 1 game for connecting? Is that the difference? If you connect flush, it's bad?
Well, yeah, because it's the actual action occurred.
Yeah, but as long as you don't connect flush, fill your boots, just hit him as many times as you can. Hopefully he doesn't die.
Again, it has to be, you have to, with the action has to happen.
Oh, boy.
It's not the intention of the action.
Boy.
It's the action itself.
It's just not a league of professionals.
Well,
it's terrible. That's terrible.
With Xhekaj, I didn't understand that. I
understood it.
But I also don't care. Like in the sense that it's like, oh, okay, so they're because the NHL being the NHL, like I don't care if they suspend Arber Xhekaj for a game in the preseason. I don't care.
The
NHL and honestly, like he's not a great, like he's a great fighter. He's a great vibes
He's
guy.
one of the best. In the league.
He's amazing for that. I don't know. Like, what are we gonna do? That they just lost Laine, isn't that like, you know what I mean? I just feel like I'm like, like I just can't get I can't get excited about that in the preseason. I can't bring myself to.
I can because the NHL has set the standard that if you take your gloves off, you can basically do whatever you want to anybody.
Yeah.
It is what it is. When Xhekaj went after Pare, who was surprised?
Oh no, I think that was going to happen.
That's the way it works. But you expect him glove off, grab the guy, even if he turtles, you just uppercut him into oblivion. And yeah, there's health risk there too. But that's the way it's always worked. Glove on beating the shit out of someone has not been allowed for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. You can't,
especially to the back of the head.
You can't hop on somebody from the back and just pummel them. Like it's not allowed. And it
happens all the time.
We walk away. I don't think it does.
In the playoffs, it does. There's always like a couple like
not like this.
I don't think this happens all the time, Adam.
No, Adam's talking about like rabbit punches and smelly gloves, and no, this is way worse.
Yeah,
way worse.
And especially because like we walk away from the Pare incident where there's nothing that in terms of discipline that happened to Pare, which I think is ridiculous. Not a penalty, not a suspension, not a fine. That's crazy.
Well, the refs missing it is not surprising, right?
No, but
NHL refs, like, come on.
No, but if the refs miss it, make up for it with a fine.
Thank you. That's the whole purpose of the
something.
Department of Player Safety.
Right. Like,
The whole purpose is to punish players and also make up for when a ref misses shit.
do something. Like, I'm just asking the league to do something on both sides of this.
And
thing.
Xhekaj, it was a 7-minute power play and he was kicked out of the game. It was a preseason game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who cares? And okay, so both fans are upset, or both fan bases are upset with the conclusion at the end of this, which means they did a good job. No, it means both fans have very legitimate gripes with the way this very, very shitty league has decided a punishment or the lack thereof in these two incidences.
The way
Neither decision makes any sense.
The way their logic usually goes in these incidences is when the initial play happens where somebody does something, and then the guy who gets upset and does something, there's some punishment there. Like either whether you agree with it or not, that's just kind of how they've done the beats so far with their discipline they hand out. If you go back and there's an intent where I'm getting retribution for this thing that happened, that guy who blatantly is out there just to injure somebody gets punished, because you can't do that. That is outside the play of hockey. So they have to say, no, even though we all know it's inside, this is a part of the game, right? Don't think I'm being soft on this. I know this is a part of the game, but the NHL has to have the illusion that, hey, we have to punish you because you're taking away from actual playing of trying to score a goal. So here's at least something. And I think a fine was so little in terms of matching the action here of Xhekaj. So I think there should have been more on both ends.
It's good to know, though, that punching someone in the back of the head multiple times only gets you a fine.
It's totally
Something to
fine.
keep under your hat.
Doesn't, though, I think, in any other instance.
Xhekaj's fine is the equivalent of someone who makes $75,000 a year being fined $195. So, you're telling me, a player's causing your team problems. Let's not throw in names or even team names so that people aren't psychos about it. Think of your least favorite player. It's less than $200. Beat the shit out of him. Yeah, there you go.
Adam,
a lot of nut jobs are taking that trade.
Adam, I'm surprised you're apathetic on this. And
I'm not apathetic. I feel for Canadians fans who were so excited about Laine
Me too.
coming. I think it's not apathy. I expected this. What's surprising to me is that everybody else is surprised, and I think not the Pare thing, but when Xhekaj hit Pare from behind and was punching him or whatever, I didn't think he was going to get anything. I just thought that's what the NHL, clearly this is what the league wants. We just 10, 12 weeks ago got finished watching the playoffs and some crazy shit happens, man. And I guess I just feel like, okay, well, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I also think that this is very clearly what the league has said. We like this. We want this. And what's crazy about it is that this does nothing. People are talking about oh, what's that Montreal-Toronto game going to be like opening night? This does nothing for that. You want a game that's going to be exciting? Laval-Marlies. There was 2 regulars outside of goaltending, I think, dressed for the Toronto Maple Leafs. None of these guys will see the real Montreal Canadiens again.
No, Xhekaj could be on this team.
No, when I'm talking about the Leaf guys.
Oh, you're just
I'm talking about we had it was like what? It was fucking was it Nyes, Robertson, and fucking Simon Benoit?
You guys are confusing me so much. I'm like, you think Florian Xhekaj is going to make the no. I thought you were talking about his brother.
I didn't understand what Adam was talking about, to be honest.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you look at the Marlies lineup, I'll get more specific. If you look at the Marlies lineup, which was the Leafs lineup, listen, you're looking at your phone. If you want to hear what I have to say.
No, I'm looking at my phone to add to the conversation.
Hear me on this one.
Yes.
The Leafs didn't bring any Leafs.
Yes.
Right?
They brought 2.
Which is why Pare got fucking dangled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So everybody's talking about the book opening night. October 9th. Leafs Habs. It's going to be crazy. No, it's not. None of these Leafs, is what I said. None of these Leafs are going to see any of these Montreal Canadiens again. Unless they're going to Laval. These guys, none of the players in that lineup really are making this team. Robertson, obviously, he was a Leaf last year. Benoit, he was a Leaf last year. Was Nyes dressed? I
Yep.
feel like he was playing.
I think it was
He was wearing
Benoit,
it.
Robertson, Nyes.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So unless one of those guys is like, I got a fucking axe to grind, it's over. And I look at this in a week's time, in a month's time, we'll have moved on from this. I don't think that this has, except for Patrik Laine's knee, the long-term anything that I think people are discussing it. Well, this will be something that people look back. No, they won't.
You don't think if Ryan Reeves is on the ice with Arber Xhekaj
you're
on
wrong,
opening
man.
night, they're going to fight?
Yeah. No,
I think they were going to fight anyway.
they might
No,
as well.
they're going to fight because of this.
They fight every time.
Yeah, but they're going to fight
No,
because
they
of
have
this.
not. They fought once. and
Yeah.
it lasted 2 seconds, and one of them fell over the net.
So you think Reeves is going to go after him?
I think they're gonna. Honestly,
Yeah.
the season might begin with those two in the starting line.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
You think Berube will do that?
Depending,
Keith
on,
would never give us that.
no,
Heath would never give us
No,
that.
you're right. He wouldn't. But I could easily see that being the beginning of the season. Is all right. Ryan Reeves versus Arber Xhekaj.
If they're on the
Center
ice
ice.
together at any moment on October 9th, they're going to fight because of this, not
100%.
just in a general sense that
Now-
they're going to fight.
I want to say that I sent Steve a video a couple days ago, the last time the Leafs played, with Pizzetta dropping a bit of a weird hit on Tavares. Nobody complained about that.
dude,
Eh.
people saying those hits are completely different are.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I think they're
Sorry,
flatly
like,
wrong.
That will get me heated. That will get me heated. That Pizzetta hit was late,
Oh, it's
and
a clean
he did not
hockey
have the
play.
puck, and he was not finishing
He
his
Charlie horsed him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He drove
was.
his knee directly into his thigh,
Eh.
and like it didn't need to be malicious or anything. And it looks like Tavares is going to be okay. He wasn't when it happened. A knee directly right into your fucking IT band. Jesus.
Yeah.
You know how much that hurts? Not as much as getting your knee torn up,
And
but
so-
it hurts. It's a game of inches that made that a Charlie horse and not Tavares is done for the season.
Yeah.
And then where does the narrative go? Then it's one of your NHL regular feisty guys who fought Reeves twice last year, just took out John Tavares. And then we're losing our minds the other way. And then Pizzetta doesn't get a penalty and also doesn't get suspended. And we're sitting here going, why didn't he get a penalty and not get suspended? Oh, because the league doesn't make videos for incidences where nothing happened.
Right. Well, my
So-
point in that is, okay, so if we're going to get heated about that, we should get heated about the Pizzetta hit,
Mm-hmm.
I think. I just feel like this is what the league wants. And so for me, it came down to two fan bases talking shit. Like, I can't tell you how many Montreal Canadiens fans message me this, and I find it hilarious when people do this. I just lost respect for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
you're a Canadiens
I bet
fan.
you- I
would
bet you had a
expect that.
ton.
Like,
I
you
bet
know,
you had a ton.
I lost respect for Leaf fans. Not sure how they factor into this. And I look at this and I go, it's an emotional response to an emotional play. The only thing I actually get emotional about is I feel really shitty for Patrik Laine.
I feel
That's how I
horrible.
feel
Yeah.
about it.
It's
That's it.
horrible.
And so when you guys talk about like, well, you're apathetic, and I get that. I totally understand that's how I'm gonna come across. I think it's more just like when I was actually surprised the league did anything with Xhekaj. I really was.
I won't let the league do that to me. I won't let them.
Well, it's not a change of fundamental characteristic. I just have different expectations. I feel like under this administration, they've showed us who they are, and I believe them.
But
do I want
I'm
things
on
to be
them.
different?
That doesn't
No.
mean you should sit back and not yell that that's wrong.
Well,
like-
you guys did that.
I don't
I'm telling
care
you how I feel.
I don't
know.
care how many times the league shows me they don't care. I'm on them like shit on Velcro.
Yeah. And I'm
I want
surprised
things
that
to get better.
I'm surprised that you've resided to like, oh yeah, that's the NHL.
Well, I
Nothing's
think,
gonna happen.
I think that that's what's expected, and it's not like, guys. How many times have I said it on this show? People get tired of me saying it, so I stop saying it.
No, it's never
don't.
enough. It's never enough.
I don't give a flying fuck. Like
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
If
But-
tomorrow something happens with ex NHL player and he swings his stick at somebody's head and the NHL says one game, I want to come on here on Wednesday and say that's ridiculous. You should have a discipline department that suspends people properly. And I don't
Yeah.
think you can ever stop that
The
because
league-
the league needs to be called out for their ridiculous nature, the way they discipline this game.
The league does this every so often where they let it go, they let it go, they let it go. And I'm not talking about two teams. I'm talking about league wide. They let it go, they let it go, they let it go. Someone explodes and someone is almost killed. That's how this goes. And then they go, whoa, and they come down on that person really hard.
Hmm.
And
then they let it go again.
No, and for the next little while, everyone's on their best behavior, and you acted up, and you get a big suspension. And if you're there's always a moratorium where if you're a repeat offender, you're fucked. Like Rafi Torres, like, okay, now you're out of the league or something like that. But then, okay, no one's watching again. All right, do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you want for years and years. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Stop complaining. Do whatever you want. That guy almost died. Suspensions are back on the table.
Yeah,
and that's how it works, and it's worked like that for decades.
Unless
and they're gonna do it again.
Unless you're Jason Spezza.